Hello and welcome back to Everybody Loves Railken, our 5th edition live play podcast that meets every Tuesday. Last week, the party had finally defeated an elder brain that they had been asked to take on behalf of this ranger, the dragonborn Underdark. It was a long and arduous battle against several Illithid and their thralls, during which they very nearly lost Leah, but serendipitously had with them the dragon, Doril, Cyrus' father, who was able to cast the wish spell to get Leah's brain back after an intellect devourer took it. Now, in the wake of that battle, Doril has been weakened by use of the wish spell, and the party must continue on toward the city of Onyx or lose a great deal of time, as it is still early in their travel. They went about 2 hours out of their way. They'll be going 2 hours back, and that'll put them at about even with the 4 hours they gained by leaving early the previous night and traveling, marching, in spite of being tired. They have about a day and a half worth of travel that they need to complete. So, as you gather your party, your guides, the Drow, Irin, and Thela, and you help along Doril, who is in a weakened state. Rezim continues to travel with you. You all have spent a large amount of resources, and you have a long way to go yet as you travel into back into Drow territory. I will need you all to make a survival check and a stealth check.
I'm good at stealth checks.
This will count for the period after the 2 hours where you travel back the way you'd come, back to that fork.
I'm getting to use my new cute die.
I rolled well.
You said survival and what?
Stealth.
Survival first, not so great so far. What? I'm dragging the party down, I'm sorry. I got 3 on both rolls. What the hell, dude? But I got very good stealth and survival, luckily.
Only a 32? Did you roll like an 8
I
or something?
rolled a 17. I mean, the lowest I can get is a 25. Yeah.
Good gosh.
But actually, 35 is the highest I can get. So.
Yeah.
I just blew all my luck tonight.
Got some good rolls then?
Oh, yeah, I'm looking at my stuff right now. We're doing stealth first, or
I mean, do what the other people have done. Just write them down. I don't care what order you write them down in.
Survival first.
People in stealth. It's very odd.
Is that the best Railken's ever gotten in stealth?
I mean, it's got to be close. If not, I had disadvantage. I rolled a 19. That's why I was like, "God damn it!" And then I rolled an 18.
Negative for stealth. That's right. You are Clank Squad.
Yep, Team Clank, and he ain't gonna. I mean, sure, he can technically bring his armor out whenever he wants, but he doesn't want to hassle with it right now in hostile territory.
Alright, let's see here. Have we got all the rolls in? Yes. Alright. Oh, everybody's done pretty well. Just a couple little slips. Okay, so you follow your path back to the fork, and immediately, Aaron, on the telepathic bond, reminds you we're going back into Drow territory, and this area will be controlled by the followers of Loth. And so you go back on your, relying on following them, doing your best to stay hidden, stay quiet, and they signal you when they sense anything coming. And of course, Vendar is helpful at perceiving things, trouble coming your way. There are a couple close calls in the first 4 hours before you stop for a short rest. Mostly it is when the signal goes through to get out of the tunnel you're in to avoid a patrol. There are a couple times where Jebel or Leah makes a noise, makes a misstep, and very nearly gets you spotted. Luckily, the rest of the team is able to cover for them, but it does get your pulse up. You do notice that you are wending deep again, and you begin to feel heat and humidity around you, and every now and again there will be parts of the path that break from the dark and closed tunnels to put you out over these sheer cliffs that fall away into magma flows. I would like these rolls made once more for the next 4 hours.
So Leah was clearly just out of her game to begin with because of all that happened. She was just a bit distraught.
Dang, I got the lowest I could get on stealth.
I'd like to move it in my
only
stealth if I may.
25.
Oh God!
Whatever shall you do with only a 25?
I know, right? I feel so embarrassed. Some of the party can almost see me.
Almost.
Okay, that last was just rude.
Screw everything up now.
Okay.
Finally, I on stealth, I got 16 on the die and nearly had the same as Vendar's minimum.
So you chat over the telepathic bond as you go, trying your best to follow the footsteps of your drow guides. Nice, Railken.
Railken!
Now there's the Railken we know.
Yeah.
That was not avoided there in the first roll.
So
My stealth was down there
message-
too until I opened.
A message is sent over the telepathic bond to Railken, and he just shouts, "What did you say?"
It's somebody just says over telepathic bond, Railken, you're making so much noise. You go, shut up! Out loud.
Clank, clank, clank.
Cyrus, if you want to address things over the telepathic bond to Doral, I'll let you roleplay that before we go through Railken's little slip here.
Alright. Let me just double check the information I was giving, make sure I am doing this correctly. Then I would try and address Doral. If it goes to the whole party, so be it. This is kind of important.
Mm-hmm. That is how the telepathic bond works.
I'd say. Something's kind of odd. There's something trying to work its way out. It's like my magic, but slightly different. I'm not sure what it is.
So, all of you hear this. You didn't
Did one of those things get in you?
I don't think so. I was never even up on the walls of that thing. I wasn't
Did you
near
touch
you
my
for very
clothes?
long. No, I burned them. You know, from a safe distance.
Doral's going to eye you and then, kind of like put out a hand and push you toward the side of the tunnel. And he's going to, just begin looking, he like grabs your chin and putting his face close to yours, begins staring directly into your eyes. Says, "What does it feel like exactly, boy? Just like the magic, or is it like something else? Somebody else's magic?"
It has... I feel like it must be my own, but I've used at least some spells today. I shouldn't be near that point, so I'm not sure what it is.
Is going to, again, just like turning your face with his hand. You see him shaking his head. Says, "I don't see any signs of a problem. You're sure you didn't touch the pool or anything near there?"
I never so much as went above the water, let alone in it.
None of those things got you. Did this start after I zapped you?
I only really noticed it after the fight, but so technically yes.
Well, sorry I had to do that, boy.
Things happen. I'm fine overall.
I wouldn't have done it if it wasn't necessary.
Indeed.
Is there any place where the feeling is concentrated?
That's more question to you, Tristan.
Yeah.
If I'm... Alright. then I'd say, yeah, my back.
He's gonna tell you to turn.
I would do so.
You're going to feel him running a hand between your shoulder blades. Oh. Okay. Alright, I think I see what's going on here. Got some, build up there. He's gonna, look around and say, it's not really the place to begin working on this, but perhaps we'll have some time later.
Alright, is there anything I should do in the meantime? Maybe subtly cast some spells to drain away some excess?
Oh, no, that's not necessary. It's your wings!
My what?
They're coming in! Ah, this is a proud day.
A little
We'll
bitch
just be
dragon
kind of a
friend.
look on Cyrus's face.
But, when we get a little more ceiling room, I think I can help you with that.
Yeah. I'll look forward to it.
If you value the clothes you're wearing, though, just do the, suppression exercises.
Got it. Yeah, these weren't particularly cheap.
Ah, I've been waiting for this day. Little boy's becoming a man.
And you'll see
Finally hit
Cyrus's
puberty.
face will mostly just be a mix of awe and concentration as he tries to keep his clothes from exploding.
I don't think it'll hurt too badly. But they're definitely stronger than the fabrics of your clothing. Guys! My boy's getting his wings!
Figuratively or literally?
I'm going to assume literally.
Yeah, that'd be my guess.
What would be the figurative use of that phrase?
I don't know, pendant?
Fly spell?
Fly spell?
Puberty.
Yeah, hippie. I was gonna say the same thing about that.
Oh, come on, I'm older than that. Especially by halfling standards.
You know, forget I said anything.
It's alright, you're just a late bloomer.
Middle finger.
Well, at least I wasn't absent for all of the important moments in your life. Sorry it worked out that way, boy.
Hey, dragon's gonna do what a dragon's gonna do.
He, smiles kind of plaintively.
If it weren't for you, I expect we'd be in worse shape than we already are.
Well, I think I can safely say that the feeling is mutual, boy.
He'll offer a hug.
Yeah, okay. Alright, we're doing this.
The stealthiest hug ever.
It's not like we're wearing armor, Mr. Clank.
You
Still sweet.
You share a tender moment with your father, and he tries to boast about you to the rest of the party, who seem very confused. And you can continue traveling for a little while, until at some point Vendar gives the word that there's something up ahead. The two drow move into a side passage and signal you to follow. And you begin to wait out this drow patrol incoming. When unfortunately, Railken sneezes. Like right as they're going past.
Little spouts of whatever element Railken is, goes shooting towards them.
You don't know Railken's element.
Not off the top of my head. No, he's what? Lightning?
Lightning.
Lightning, right? Well, there's two of them. I get them confused.
One's ice and the other's lightning.
I know that much. I just, I'm never sure which is which.
Railken means lightning punch.
I didn't know that.
Oh. Well, now you do. You speak Draconic, right?
I mean, only on a character sheet.
Your character knows that. In any event. There is a long-held breath after the tunnel almost literally shakes with the explosive sneeze. And I just imagine, like, during this silence, Railken finally just looks around and goes, "Do you think they heard?"
Out loud for added effect.
Yeah, I did that audibly.
Probably.
No, not the brain golem. Get out of here. I wanted the party. Wait. Brain golem was
Clem's
selected.
joining us?
No. I don't know why you got selected with the party.
I haven't seen Clem in a while.
True. Gotta get back over to my old, remade combat stuff. Let's use this one. This one looks fun. And make a nice battlefield for this one because I wasn't sure if you'd need it. So, we'll say that you were headed from right to left, and when they heard somebody coming, it seemed like they were going to be coming from here, so you went down south into this lower passage. And the sneeze happens. And, after Railken's audible question...
Railken, you're meant to sneeze into your elbow.
You are going to hear the shout in Undercommon that says, "Intruders, get them." Okay, let's get some initiatives rolled. While I get the music up.
Don't fail me this time. You failed me this time.
What's your dex bonus, Jebel?
3.
Okay, let's roll. I got a 5.
11.
Okay, you go before me.
I also got a non-natural 20. But my dex
I
is
think
higher.
you go before both of us.
Yes.
My 2 drow rolled the same.
I assume Railken's init is not +3. No, wait, no, that's Yuki. Sorry. Oh yeah. Sam. No, Mal. Fucking hell. Sorry.
Laramentus?
Why did? Yeah, no, Mal. What is your init modifier?
2.
Okay, well then I'm before you.
Okay. There.
Non-natural 20, but the last of all of us.
All of us. So Jebel also a 20. And Vendar also a 20. Fun.
Finally roll well. Still.
Not well enough.
You rolled better than I did. But I got better bonus.
That's, Railken.
4.
Leah.
16.
Cyrus.
22.
So many people.
All the people.
Okay, let's see. Cyrus, Vendar, Jebel, Leah, Yuki, Railken. Alrighty.
I just realized I never finally decided on what I was going to do with my level up. Oh well.
What do you mean you haven't decided what you were going to do with your level up?
Or was it abilities, just ability score modifier? My level up this for 14 is just an ability score, or is the ability score a feat?
You can get a feat.
Yeah.
Anytime you have ability score improvement, you can choose to either take 2 points to your abilities, 2 to 1 or 1 to 2, or you can take any feat in the player's handbook. Some of those feats come with a point to one of your abilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I remember, I'm pretty sure I was looking at them earlier this week, but I never made up my mind.
Well, that is unfortunate, because now you're not going to have that benefit during this fight when it would be really useful.
Yeah, but I rolled my HP at least.
At least there's that. Okay, so, as you hear this shout, combat begins, and visuals. So they're within your dark vision, but depending on your positioning, you might not be able to see them. Remember that red is a stalactite coming down from the ceiling, and orange is a stalagmite coming up from the ground. The ceiling in here is about 20 feet. Now then.
So both the one near us are come out from the ground?
Both the one near you are coming down from the ceiling.
Down from the ceiling, okay.
They do not touch the ground, so they don't provide cover for ground, but if you were to go up there by some means, they would provide cover then. Or you could use them for cover. Now
Maybe
then.
get boots like you had in Doctor Strange. Climb on air.
Alright, so, first up is Cyrus.
Alright, then I would like to take 2 steps to the north. And double check, make sure I'm not spending resources I don't have. Okay, good. I would like to begin subtly casting, I just blanked on the spell name. Sunbeam. There it is.
Okay. No one stops you.
And I'm subtly casting it because I'd like to also be trying to talk while doing so. And so I'll try and say, is our destruction really what you want? Do you want to serve a god who cares nothing about her own people? That would destroy them as soon as look at them? There are other options.
Drider is going to narrow her eyes and say, "The traitorous swine are here!"
And to that, blast Sunbeam her direction.
Okay.
I believe it's a Constitution saving throw.
Okay. She rolled really high. Dun, 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 dun. So, con saving throw. That's going to be a 23.
Alright, she makes it so she is not blinded and will only take half damage from this. Let me roll it up. Okay, so it's 23 points of radiant damage, then half it due to success.
Okay. So 11.
Yep. Then I am also shedding sunlight for 60 feet. 30 feet bright, 30 feet dim.
Sucks for the drow in our party.
Mm-hmm.
Well, they don't particularly take combat rolls, so I'm gonna opt for the. It's more bad for them.
Alright, let's see here. Alright, so 11 points of damage. And not blinded, but sunlight. Oh, that's weird. There we go. Alright. Five, 10, 15, 20, 30, 40, 60. Alright, so lots of sunlight. Anything else?
Nope, that's it for me.
Vendar.
Oh, actually, sorry. I would also step back to not block the tunnel. Just one space, though. Sorry.
It's suddenly very bright in here.
It is. You do hear cries of anguish from multiple voices.
Probably in our head, too. I'm gonna shoot the Drider.
You're gonna shoot the Drider. Alright, go for it.
And it hasn't had its turn yet, so I will get sneak attack by it.
Mm-hmm. Believe that because of Assassin you get advantage.
That's a 19 to hit.
A 19? Ooh. You just barely hit.
Good. Probably would have missed if not for the advantage then. DC 19 con save.
Makes it. Rolling all high on these con saves today.
So only half damage from the poison.
And I'm going to get to my turn. I'm going to roll low on all my attacks.
That's how it do.
Damage.
So that's 33 lightning damage.
Nice, very nice.
And 48 poison, so 24 poison damage.
24 poison damage. Okay. Well, this creature is bloody. Alright, who's next? You got anything else?
No, not really.
You don't want to go anywhere?
I guess I'll... I'll move over between in that little space between Lair and Doral and Cyrus.
Okay. You bury yourself in the party. Jebel!
I cast Flight on the Drider.
Okay.
Con save.
14.
That misses. Let's see.
Maybe my luck had to run out at some point.
10, 1, 2, 30. That's 32. Minus 10, 20, 30. Yeah, 32 necrotic damage.
32 necrotic damage as you slurp the fluids from its body. You see its skin and chitinous plating drying out and cracking.
I literally rolled like half the damage I could have, like the max. Max is 64.
Yeah. It's still standing.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay where I am.
Okay. Lair.
Okay. I begin casting a spell. Doesn't get countered. I cast Ray of Frost at the Drider.
Okay.
Does a 27 hit.
Yes.
Okay, let's not roll 4 points of damage on 3d8 this time dice. That happened. We're moving beyond that. We're moving forward. That is 16 points of cold damage, which is better than 4.
I was so ready for you to say that was 3 cold damage.
I did roll 1-1. The green die is on shaky ground right now.
Okay. Anything else?
I am going to move to just north of the eastern stalactite.
Okay. Drider's turn. It's going to knock arrows and loose 3 times. Like it's going to be at least 2 hits.
It does have disadvantage.
You're right. 1 hit. 2 hits. 3 hits. Turn that miss into a hit. Nice.
Wait. How
That's
did it
not
turn a
what that's
miss into
supposed to do.
Well, because I re-rolled all 3 attacks with disadvantage, and it rolled all in the, 17, 18, 19 range on all 6 dice. Whereas before it had rolled a 2 on the original no advantage, no disadvantage third die. This time it rolled a 19 and a 15. So, thank you, Sam. Let's see. Yeah, those are definitely all going to hit because Thela has 16 AC. Damage is... E1. Ayla is very bloody. And she's going to move away. drow is going to come charging in and embed himself all the way at the back. Where he's going to roll with disadvantage against Thundar.
I don't think the Drider had moved far enough, but she had been slowed by my Ray of Frost.
Yeah. And the first attack will miss.
Doesn't the drow go later after a few other people?
I don't know, does it?
According to the initiative, it's Leah, Kaze, Doral, then the drow. Between the Drider and drow.
Sure.
Oh, fun.
Disadvantage anyway. That'll hit. That'll miss. That'll hit. So, Irin is going to take a bunch of damage. And he is also bloody. And then that Drider is going to move away. You will notice that that one appeared on the ceiling. Okay. Leah.
Yeah. Oh, I don't seem to have good line of sight. I mean, there's some drow next to us. I'm probably gonna have to move.
So the Driders both shot our guides?
Yep.
Are they...
After one of them mentioned that there were traitorous swine here, they both seemed to target your drow.
Okay. I see... Okay. I see 3 drow now. It's one of them enemy and the other 2 ours.
Yeah, the 2 blooded ones
the
are
2
your
with
guys.
the party are ours.
Okay.
Irin. Layla.
Okay, I'm going to... Let's see. Okay, that's 30 though. Because I don't have line of sight on the drow as far as I know. No, the Driders.
I don't think so. Find out.
Because I assume the corner is a wall.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, you can't see them.
But I do want to protect our... Okay. I'm going to move. I'm going to move so I have line of sight. So to the just around the corner, like up and to the side. Since, well, I can walk through Jebel's square without squeezing, or
No.
no? Okay, and then I'm gonna have to move up and to the left.
To here.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's 25.
That's 25.
That's good. Okay. Then I'm going to Eldritch Blast one of the drow. Let's
Alright.
aim. Let's aim at the one that looks hurt.
You see a slightly narrower tunnel than the one you're in, and there is a wider area beyond that is blocked by this drow, Drider, one standing on the ground, the other standing on the ceiling, and they both look towards you with red eyes.
Knock the one in the ceiling off.
I'm not sure if that's. I don't have any abilities that have that, like, as some description, so that will be up to Tristan.
If he targets the roof where the thing is standing.
I can tell you that it wouldn't do you any good to do that because the fall isn't enough to hurt it.
No.
But you could do that if you wanted to sacrifice your damage against the creature.
Yeah, well, one of them have a red dot, so I'm going to aim at that one.
Okay. That one is pretty bloody.
Yeah. With Eldritch Blasts. That was a fumble roll for the first.
Okay, your first one goes wide. You thread the needle right between the two of them. It's really impressive.
7, yeah. Okay, so plus 12, also plus 12. That should be easy, but my brain is mush. 19.
Okay. Your Eldritch Blast strikes the one on the ground, and it crumples.
Oh, so you had that bad of HP.
It had 7 HP.
Yeah.
You would have died if I hadn't got that con save.
Yep.
Either of them.
Yeah, my Eldritch Blast hit with minimum 7, so...
Your Eldritch Blast does an extreme amount of damage, even with minimum roll.
Yeah. Then I'm going to send the last blast at the other one on the ceiling.
But you said it was 19 damage. That's not minimum for you.
I didn't say 19 damage, I said 19 to hit.
Said 7 was the minimum damage you could do.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. I got confused.
Last boss had that's 29.
29 will hit.
Yeah. It was literally 10 more than the last one, and I still spent time calculating it. I need to get my brain back in action.
Alright, well, roll this damage and practice some more math.
Oh man, come on, you die, be kinder to me. That's an 8.
Alright. Takes 8 points of force damage and does not seem happy about it. You have 5 feet of movement left. What do you want to do?
I'm going to move around the corner.
Here?
With my last 5. Yeah.
Okay. Then after Leah is Yukikaze.
Could I say something over telepathy real quick?
Yeah?
Yukikaze, if you could, try and fill one of the holes. We don't want them able to hurt Thela or insert name of a drow here.
Crazy.
So I see the guy that's up the tunnel there, Tristan, right? And then the other two over there. Sorry, I seen them go that way.
You saw them go that way, yeah.
But there's the guy that's near me.
Yeah, I don't think that you have direct line of sight to him, though.
Well, did I see any attack come from there or anything?
No.
I missed that.
Yeah, you can't see far enough up there.
Alright, well then I'm going to believe those two are the only two there, so I will head that way
Okay.
and draw my weapons.
Okay. You draw both weapons because of your feet. With 30 feet, you can make it over to Leah. As you begin heading that way, you do become aware that there is a drow at the end of the tunnel.
Then I will stop, turn back a little bit, and I'll go toward that one because it's closer. If I can change my movement that way.
Mm-hmm.
Puts me right in front of it, maybe?
Yep.
Alright, I'll go in front of him and I'll start swinging. And Cyrus, you did notice that Yukikaze did not respond to you.
Right. Good point.
I think the one guy who can't think at you.
I forgot. It's perfectly reasonable. It's been 8 hours.
Out of curiosity, Yuki, I know it's not pertinent to the fight, but would you have been trying to learn any of the sign language that Resum and the Drow seem to use?
I would have tried not to be ignorant of it. I
Okay.
try to, like, figure it out.
Is Resum still with us?
Yeah. Right there.
So, the one that I hit well with actually rolled low
He is not in the
damage.
initiative.
So, 29 for the first hit, and 29 gonna hit Tristan.
Yes.
It's gonna be 6 magical piercing, and will 19 hit.
Yes.
That
Believe
will
that
be
19 just hit.
it'll be 8 magical piercing.
Alright, 6 magical and 8 magical.
Yep, and then my third attack is a 29 at 10 magical piercing.
Okay.
And I'll end my turn there.
You thrust 3 times at this drow with your short sword, and all 3 connect.
Okay.
Alright. If there's nothing else, then it'll be Doral's turn. Doral's just going to kind of run over and place himself there. Okay, now it's the drow turn. The drow that you are facing, Yukikaze, is going to attack you. Alright, these guys have that. So, I totally forgot about that. He actually managed to block the hit that was very close to his AC. Back a little bit of HP. Right. Multi-attack with a short sword. 2 of them. Yukikaze. It's still... Where is the light source? There. Yeah, okay. Does a 15 hit your AC?
Negative.
Okay. How about 18?
Nope.
Okay, you managed to block both of the attacks. Another is going to pop out from behind this stalagmite, and it's going to shoot at you with a crossbow. Alright, so it is actually going to be able to crit with the crossbow. And that is going to be 14 points of non-magical piercing damage. And then please make a Constitution saving throw.
A 15.
15. Okay. You don't feel any different after this bolt strikes you in your shoulder.
Okay.
Alright. And then it is Resum's turn. Resum is going to do fighting. You're going to hear him stomping his way up behind you. And then as he begins to shove past you, he's going to disappear. He's going to make his first attack with disadvantage. Still getting a 19 is enough. That's 15 points. Go to number 1. And you're going to see him oof and fire again, this time without disadvantage. Scoring an 18, which against this particular target is still enough. Dealing 8 points of damage. Okay. After Resum is your guide drow. We are going to begin tending each other's wounds quickly as they can. Railken.
So I'm guessing the path to the left of me is blocked by 2 people.
Well, they are your allies, so you can move through them if you spend the extra movement.
Let's see. I guess Railken will move through Doral.
Alright. 5, 15, 20, 25, 30 would get you up to here.
Let's try 10, 15 away from Drider. Yeah, I mean, either one of those is fine.
Okay.
Maybe the furthest, maybe to the left.
Yep. That's where I dropped you. Throw something, cast a spell, say something mean.
Kind of what I'm left with. I guess I will. Actually, you know what? I will double move and I will go up next to it.
Okay. You move another 10 feet. You are just to the bottom. Boom. You are next to it.
And then that will be my move then.
Okay. That will bring us to the top of round 2. Cyrus.
Alright, then I would like to use my action and dash to the left tunnel.
Okay. 30. 35. 40. So with 40 you could get back here, have 10 feet between you and the thing. You want to round the corner. I don't know if that's what you want to do.
I will round the corner. I'll decide what I want to do with that last 10 in a second. I'll send a sunbeam with my bonus action towards the one on the roof.
Okay.
So it needs to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay, you got a 19.
I believe my DC is 18. If not, it's 19, so we'll go to the save.
Okay.
So it's not going to be blinded, and I'll take half the damage. And let me see if I can just... This one doesn't have the blind. Excuse me. Let's see. Okay. Oh, because the bot's offline for some reason. Gotcha. Alright.
Sidekick's been gone a while. I might just have to remove it. Thought it might
Yeah, I
come
hadn't
back.
noticed. I'll just use Roll20 to roll this faster. 68. Alright. 30 points of radiant damage, halved.
15.
Yep. As I, blast it, I'll say, I will not let you take those who have chosen a better path.
You will all fall under line. Fall.
Better gods I tried.
So, how tall is the cavern?
The one they're in, 20 feet.
20 feet. So even if I got to where they had to pass over me, I still couldn't make an attack opportunity because I'm too short.
Yeah, but so's everybody.
Yeah.
Ugh.
You okay, Jeb?
So I think I'm done then.
Okay. Alright, 15 points. Also, all of you notice that the sunlight is removed from most of you.
So it's Cyrus himself that's glowing?
Yeah, it's Cyrus himself that's glowing.
It's like a little orb in my hand that shines bright as the sun.
Thought I was your dick.
Why? Just
Big old glowing ball in your pants.
So inappropriate. Oops. I filled in totally wrong. My bad.
You worked fell for butt there.
Now it's double sunlight.
No. It is no sunlight. Make my life difficult, why don't you?
Sorry. It's a useful tool.
Program.
That's your job.
So hard to tell that area is dark now. So, do this. Yeah. It's not affecting this area. Bear with me on this. Those areas are dark again. Okay, so after Cyrus, it becomes Vendar.
Alright, I'll move all the way to the left to that corner there, south of Doral.
Okay.
Can I see the Drider?
I think so. Yep. It's hanging from the ceiling.
Good. Then I will shoot it.
Alright. Take your shot.
Does Railken count as adjacent to it, or is he not because it's in the...
Oh, he's not, because it's 10 feet tall and it's 20 feet off the ground, so there's a person-sized gap between him and it.
That's what I figured. So he can't actually even attack, can he?
I mean, he could, like, jump and attack or throw something. Or he could parkour off the wall and attack.
Parkour.
Right. I got a 27 to hit. So.
I mean, it sounds like I'm joking, but I'm not. Yep, that hits.
DC 19 con.
Alright, let's see. Come on, big con rolls. You've had... No, that's not a big con roll. That's a bad con roll. Okay, it fails.
Okay, full damage.
It might survive this.
Yeah, I don't get the sneak attack.
No sneak attack, so it's got a better chance of surviving this.
So that's 9 lightning damage.
9 lightning damage. Okay. And full poison damage. Keeping track of all your, how much you have left in the reservoir?
Yep, I only got 2 shots left in the reservoir. I need to fill it.
Need to fill it up, yeah.
That's 44 poison damage.
44, not bad. Okay, it's bloody. Boom. Alright, anything else?
Then I guess I'll take another step to the right. See if it can't shoot me.
Okay. After Vendar, Jebel.
Let's see, that's me. Not there. That's them. I see those 2. Let me see what spells we have. I am going to cast... Of the 2 R2 guides, can I tell that one might be worse off than the other? Or
The difference between how much health they have left is 1 point.
Okay. I'm going to go over and the one closest to me. I am going to cast Cure Wounds, 2nd level.
Alrighty. Spend the spell slot, roll the dice. And just so you know, that was the more hurt one.
Good.
They had 1 point less.
15.
Okay. They're looking considerably
less not as bad.
Less not as bad. They're actually directly on their bloodied line now. So they're still bloody. But as they're like pulling the arrow shafts from each other and quickly throwing bandages over the wounds, he turns to you and there's a surprised look in his eyes. You see through the helmet, and he says, "Thank you."
Just nod. Action. Okay, I think that's it.
Okay. After Jebela's lair.
Okay, I am going to move 3 to the west, so I can see down the tunnel.
Yep.
I love spell snipers so much. And I'm going to chill touch
Okay.
the drow, the enemy drow that I can see.
Yep. As you're engaged in melee combat with this drow soldier, you could cause a ethereal skeletal hand appears before you and reaches out to grasp onto them.
And it like goes onto the head and like pokes a cheek kind of thing to like get attention. I got a 27 again.
Oh, okay, yeah, that hits. As it grabs onto them, like at where their neck meets their shoulder.
I'm not allowed to roll well for a damage. I'm not. I'm a lover, not a fighter. I got 11 points of necrotic damage.
Okay.
It cannot be the target of healing spells, or it cannot be healed by magic. Or can I? No, it can't regain health.
Cannot regain health.
It is not just by magic.
Yes.
So if you're like that and you take a healing potion, it'd just be wasted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's fun. I love it. It's really mean, honestly. And I take one more step to my to the west.
Okay. After Lair is the Drider, which is going to move further into the room. Not there, because that's still... okay, hang on. And it's going to shoot at Railken.
Coward.
Okay, so they're going to have disadvantage. Too bad, that could have been a crit. That'll miss. And another almost crit, but it's a miss. And definitely a miss.
That's what happens when you're a coward.
You just hear her hiss at you. Hey. Should I fail, then my punishment was deserved. After the Drider, Leah.
Yeah, I'm not going to Ether's Plus another Drider. Not from here, I'm not. Bad angle. I'm going to walk up next to Daddy and I'm gonna shoot the Rider.
Okay.
Okay. So, that's 22 to hit.
That'll hit.
That's a 12 on force damage.
Okay.
Second blast is a 24
Hit.
to hit.
higher, and the first one hit, you can just say it's higher and then roll damage.
Fair. Well, it could be that it had some. No, it's been hit before. Whatever.
Damage?
Yeah. 13.
Okay. Last blast.
Last blast. Dice keep landing where I can't see it. That's a crit.
Okay, double damage. Die. Double damage, die.
Yeah.
2d10.
Well, yeah. It's also. I have forgotten this every time I've done. I've had spell crits, but my wand actually have a condition for it.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I believe it deals more dice.
Yeah, it deals 2d6 on a non-dragon. So I had to remember that. I've read through the ones, you see, because I've noticed that the one bonus damage wasn't applied.
Yeah.
So I went and applied that manually.
Yeah.
And then I noticed that spell crit thing, and I was like, oh, forgotten about that.
The one's bonus should be applied. I checked it many times, it was working.
Yeah, the damage bonus doesn't apply for some reason, but the DC and the spell attack does.
Yeah, that's because there aren't damage bonuses that it can add to D&D Beyond. It's not a condition you can add.
Yeah. But I can add those manually by just clicking on the spells and then add them.
So 2d10 plus 2d6 plus 7 or whatever.
Yes.
As you hold out the wand, take aim for the third time, you see this, you feel like you see the image of a dragon's head open its mouth and blast out this force attack. Is it the recoil that throws your hand back?
That is a total of 27.
Okay. You do manage to kill it as the force attack strikes it, and you hear it cry out in agony. It hisses and falls from the ceiling with a crunch as it hits the ground.
I wonder what Railken says about this display, because he will probably also see the sort of like dragon display coming from the wand.
Yep.
Ooh, shiny.
That's I don't know what I expected, but that is pretty much it.
Yukikaze.
Yes.
You're up.
I'm gonna poke the guy in front of me again.
Okay.
Really, dice? It fell on my desk. 1 second. I bounced a little too hard on my tray. And then it wants to be a jerk. So 17 for the first hit.
17 for the first hit is gonna miss.
Second hit is 27.
That'll hit.
So that will be 11 magical piercing.
Okay. Third hit.
$21 to hit.
That'll hit.
8 magical piercing.
Okay. And you're using the shield in your offhand, right?
Correct.
Okay. This is just me being curious, but how come you use Ki and not Hideol?
Because Ki I don't have to be attuned to for some of the stuff.
Oh.
I could use the other one for... Yeah, it's because I don't have to be attuned to it.
Are you not currently attuned to Hideol?
No, because I have the shield. I have the shield, Spellbreaker, and...
The pendant.
The bracelet for Night Eye. Yep.
Oh. You're not actually attuned to the pendant anymore.
Did I have to be attuned to the pendant?
You
I thought...
were.
No, the pendant isn't in the list of things I have to be attuned to. You didn't... I believe you made the pendant not needing requirement for attunement. Maybe?
That doesn't match with my memory.
Where is... Well, if I had a pendant tune, that means I wouldn't be able to attune to every piece of the Bahamut armor and have the pendant on.
Yes, I'm aware. I had something planned for that.
Well, under my requires attunement section, it doesn't say that it needs it, so I must have either forgot or you didn't apply it to the item, or...
Yeah, I don't see it. I'll have to revisit my notes, because I've been thinking about this for a while, and I'm surprised to see that the item doesn't match my memory. Go ahead.
So yeah, after that, that's the end of my turn.
Okay, you're gonna stay there?
Yep, I'm gonna stay there,
Okay.
keeping this figure from the rest of the party.
Alright, so Doral is going to hold his position. He still looks pretty shaky. The Drow are going to get their move. Going to attack you with its short sword. A miss. And 23, I think. Back here. Yeah, 23.
So it's 23 will hit.
Okay. 7 points of non-magical piercing damage, and then an additional 10 points of poison damage.
Okay.
The other one is going to fire their crossbow again. For a 26. So take 7 points of non-magical piercing damage, and then roll me a Constitution saving throw again.
Okay. That's wrong, guys. Oh, I roll 10.
Total?
Yes.
Okay. You are poisoned for 1 hour. You have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Alright, and I am bloodied.
Okay. You am bloody again. Alright. The drow went. Resum's turn. Resum's going to shoot the person in front of him. For an 18 on die, which will hit. Let's see if he can finish this person. Probably. I'll gain 20 points of damage. So, yep. You're going to see a bolt of force fire from Resum's bow and strike this person in the back. And they're going to cry out in pain and fall to their knees. And as he crumples before you, just says, "Non-believers will be burned away." He collapses. Doral's going to teleport and fire another arrow. Getting yet another 18 on die. For 7 points of damage. So that's going to be that. Yes. Okay. After Resum is your guide drow. They're going to double move. Say this way. Railken.
I guess Railken's gonna move up. If he finds the hole, yeah, he's gonna go forward into there. I guess he's just gonna dash again. And yeah, I guess they'll go right next to Russ. Like, what's up, bud?
It is one left.
I haven't gotten to hit anything yet. I'm pissed.
Alright. It's going to go to round 3. Cyrus.
Alright, I would just be sticking with our guides, as they have said this way, and I also want to make sure there's nothing that way that can, get them.
Okay. Are you going to move past them so that you can stay between them in potential danger?
Yeah, I would try and move past them.
Alright, well, because of underfoot, I'll let you do that.
Because if not, then it'd be pointless me being there. Otherwise, I have to blast them to blast anything else.
Remove all that. You take the light with you. Okay. Vendar. The area is falling back into darkness. As you see Cyrus head down the passageway that your guides took.
I'll follow him and I'll get behind the guides.
Okay, 30 feet will get you right behind him.
And I can't see anything, so...
Yep.
Can I only fill one vial up with an action, or can I put 3 vials into the...
I would say 1 vial per action. Normally it's something you do out of combat.
Yeah.
It still gets you 3
I'll
charges.
I'll just wait till I'm out of combat.
Okay.
I guess I'll prepare an action to shoot any enemies I see.
Yeah, you can do that. Alright. Jep.
That's Yukikaze above me, is it?
Yeah, you saw that he was fighting, and your dark vision, yeah, you can see that the enemy he was fighting crumpled in front of him.
And he looks injured.
He does not look like he's at the best of health.
Yeah.
Nope.
I'm gonna walk up to him and I'm casting Cure Wounds on him.
Okay, spend the slot, roll the dice.
Um, 18.
Okay.
18 hit points.
Well, do I get to respond to the action?
Sure.
Thank you, Jebel.
Just nods again.
Alright. You used 15 getting there. Do you want to move back or anything?
No, I'll stay where I am.
Okay. There.
Okay. I am going to ask via telepathy, are there any enemies remaining? And I'm going to move to follow the guards.
There's one.
I expectantly look into the room that I can now see.
Do you see some
I know that
stalactites?
Railken ran over this way.
You see some stalactites, stalagmites, and at least one crumpled drider body.
And I prepare an action to
Cast a spell.
Ray of Frost. So I'll be concentrating on
figured.
Ray of Frost.
Leah.
Oh, real quick, I'm not bloody anymore, Tristan.
Okay. Leah. Leah.
I didn't know I was muted. I'm sorry. I was talking like crazy. I just.
Stuck in dead
Um,
hell.
Yeah, I must have hit it with my glass. I do that once in a while. I tried asking which direction did Railken run? Like.
Oh,
up
well,
or down?
you have, obviously perfect vision in the dark, so you saw him run up and then head to the right.
Yeah.
He disappeared
so
through a hole in the wall.
Then I'm gonna run after.
Okay. 30 will get you into the tunnel.
Okay. Do I see any enemies?
Let's see. Yeah, you can see one, but it has cover.
Full cover or half?
3/4.
I'm gonna give it a shot.
Okay.
Gonna try shooting him with Eldritch Blast.
Okay.
Is that disadvantage or do you add things?
Oh no, it just has +5 AC.
Okay, yeah. Well, that was a fumble, so definitely not the first one.
Okay. You miss. It strikes the ground near Railken's foot.
I guess that proves that these dice are very varied, when the last one was 20 and this one is 1. That's 6 plus 18.
Alright. That's not enough to hit because of the cover. So your Eldritch Blast hits the stalagmite that he's standing behind, sending sparks off of it into the darkness.
Okay. Last plus is 26.
26 will be high enough.
Yeah. Can't hide it from me. Nah, I don't say that in an ominous way because I'm not evil anymore.
Anymore.
I mean,
I trust you. Completely. Mm-hmm.
yeah. That was max damage, so 17.
17 points of damage. Okay. Boom. Your third Eldritch Blast enters the room and manages to thread all these needles in front of you. And strike true.
Yeah, after the second miss, Leah kind of like closes an eye, sticks out a tongue, you know, like, okay, this one.
My death will only bring more wrath from Loth upon you. After Leah is Yukikaze. You've been healed, you've got a corpse in front of you, you know that there's a guy over here who's been shooting you with crossbow bolts.
Well, I'll walk over there and stab the SOB. And you said I have a disadvantage to my attack rolls?
Because of the poison, yeah. Okay, 20 feet gets you there.
Alright.
Unless you want to be, like, back one.
Yeah, that's fine. Let's get right up to him.
Swing with disadvantage.
26.
That was good disadvantage. Yeah, you'll hit.
Must be channeling the essence of Rowan.
Yeah, I've noticed that I tend to roll better when I have disadvantage than when I've got nothing. If I'm just rolling 1d20, it'll probably come up a 4, but if I'm rolling 2, they both come up in the teens.
Do I have one? Is the question.
One what? A superiority die?
Yeah, I'm gonna use one and
You got them all back.
triple
You took a
Yeah,
short
no.
rest. You have all of them.
just double checking.
Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna trip attack them.
Okay.
And I rolled minimum on both, so it's only 2 damage total.
Plus your strengths bonus. What's the total damage he takes?
2. Sorry. 5, 7 magical piercing.
Okay, there we go. Okay, he got a strength saving throw, rolled a +1, 10. He got a 10.
Yep, he failed.
Okay, he goes prone.
So does that mean I just roll normal now, right?
Yes. Means you roll normal now.
Alright, so I get 2 more swings. I'll roll my hit dice with them because I only have to roll once. So 20 for the first one.
20 will hit.
8 magical piercing.
8 magical piercing.
And then 29.
Yeah, that'll hit.
16 magical piercing. Or 6 magical piercing.
6 magical piercing. Okay, yeah, he's looking pretty bloody.
Alright. And that's it for me.
Alright, after Yukikaze is Doral. Doral's going to move up. There. That's the Drow. He's gonna stand up. Going to cut across over here. So they don't have to fully round corners of stalagmites. And he's going to roll against you. 19 to hit.
Nope, will not hit.
Okay, and another 19. So he misses both of those. And then 25 against Railken.
That hit.
Okay. You get struck in the back with a crossbow bolt. Oh, there it is. And you see a drow standing up there with a I wanted to say smug, but honestly, I think they know that they're not getting out of this one alive. So I would just say very upset look on their face as they're holding an empty crossbow pointed at you. The crossbow is going to deal... excuse me. 7 non-magical piercing damage, and you must make a Constitution saving throw.
I only got a 12.
Only got 12. Okay, you are poisoned for 1 hour, so you have disadvantage on attack rolls and ability checks.
Okay. So, that has nothing to do with actual poison, though. It's just something else, right?
Yeah, it is the poisoned condition.
Poison condition. Because I am immune.
I mean, none of the poisons I use actually apply that
just
condition.
regular poison damage. So, okay, I got it set on my thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good question. Hang on to it. I'll figure out what the call on that is. Very well. You're probably immune to it, but I'll figure it out. He then moves back behind the stalagmite so that you can't see him. And I believe that's it for the drow, which makes it Rezum's turn. Rezum's going to, because he can't help himself, he's going to teleport. And he's going to fire. Getting a 6 plus 9 is 15, so that's going to miss. He's going to fire again. Alright, 14, 9, 23. That'll hit. And... 17 damage. Okay. Very bloody. After Rezum, Guide Drow. They're going to keep moving. Alright. Railken.
I guess I'm going to move up to try to attack that drow that shot me.
Move up to try to attack that drow that shot you. Okay. You find him pretty easily.
I will attack with disadvantage. And I got a 24 to hit.
Alright. You hit.
Get my 8. Yeah, I think I minimized.
You can always
7
smite to
points.
compensate.
7 points of non-magical silvered slashing, and 1 radiant damage.
Okay. Attack again.
And this time was a 21.
21. Boo, 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 boo. 21, 18, 19, 20, 21. Even if he did it, it would still hit. So, not gonna bother. Yes.
Okay. A little better this time. 9 points of non-magical silver slashing and 6 radiant.
Okay. Now you're bloodied.
And that will be Railken's move.
Okay. Okay. Let's see. Cyrus, Vendar, Lair. You're going to hear a cry of anguish echo down the hall. This tunnel that you're heading down. Going to hear no! Becomes round 4. Cyrus, what do you do?
I will dash and try and catch up to the cry.
Okay. With dashing, you can get to here. You are going to find Irin on the ground, bleeding out, as Thala stands over him. He seems to be whispering to him as he, cradles him to his chest. As you approach, Illa's going to point to the west and say, "It was an ambush."
I presume I can't see anyone?
There isn't anybody in view, but you can hear footsteps.
Okay. Is, which one's down? Sorry, I forgot which one.
Irin.
Is Irin past the point of healing?
They're in death saving throws, but you used up everything in your wand.
Yeah, but I could try and at least stabilize them, because I
Oh.
can't see anyone.
You could try that, yeah.
Well, actually, I don't have an action. If I bonus action cast haste, could I use a hasted action to try and stabilize them?
I don't think that's one of the things hasted action can do.
Let me double check. I know it's not going to say specifically stabilize, but I don't think it's a specific action either, so let me see what it says.
I think it usually says, dash.
Dash, disengage, hide, use an object, or the single attack.
Yeah, so, no, wouldn't help.
How tall is the tunnel?
Here, about 15 feet.
Since I can't see them, I'll telepath. Come down the tunnel to the west. We need our group. Irin's hurt. And I will bonus action cast Wall of Stone and block up the tunnel.
Okay. Right nearby. I'll just throw
as close as I can, because in case there's someone invisible or something I can't see,
Yep.
I don't want them in here. So this is going up within inches of the drow.
Makes sense to me. Okay.
And I'll say to Thala, is there anything you can do for him?
I'm trying.
Others are coming. Hopefully they can help. Alright, and naturally the sunbeam is gone because that was concentration.
Okay. So you're not blinding them?
I am not blinding them, but I'm also not blinding anyone else I can't see either.
Okay. You throw up your wall of stone. Vendar.
We'll dash down the hallway.
Oh, I'd also want to move one to the north in case somebody else can help. I don't want to be blocking access to Irin.
Alright, so you've got 5 feet of movement left after you get here, Vendar. You can see what I've described. Irin is down, bleeding, and you can hear that Thala seems to be whispering prayers to Lolth.
Deloused? Not illustrate?
Not illustrate.
Huh, that's odd. I'll take my I'll get right up next to him and I'll use my potion of healing. I got one potion of healing left, and I'll give it to pour it down his throat.
Okay. Roll the health.
Huh. Well, I didn't know it when I said it, but I spent my 7th level spell slot in this wall of stone.
Can you use a potion if you dash?
He's
I
got
can,
bonus
because
action
is
dash.
a bonus action.
Oh yeah, rogues.
Yeah.
Speedy little fuckers.
Speedy little fuckers. Alright, so that's 7 hit points.
Okay. After you move in, you pour the potion into Aaron's mouth and massage it down his throat, and after a second or two, he opens his eyes. You can see the wound glowing slightly with the magic of the potion. As the blood stops pumping out of it. Thela, you can see tears in Thela's eyes as Aaron seems to regain consciousness, and he just pulls him to his chest and eventually, as much as he can, twists towards you. Thank you. Alright, Lair.
Merloth is the one who did this to him.
I was trying to help.
I understand.
Lair.
I think you skipped someone.
I think you mean Jebel.
Jebel? Oh, you're right, Jebel.
Yeah. You know what? So when I heard Cyrus's telepathic summons, I was telepath back on my way, and I am going to bonus action wild shape into an earth elemental and just burrow straight towards the west.
Whee! Earth glide.
I don't think Doral did that.
Yeah.
Oh, you're right. How far can you earth glide?
I can earth glide 30 feet, but I can go 60 if I dash.
Okay, you're dashing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm also using dash action. But hey.
Ba-dum-tsh.
Tish.
Boom.
Again. No.
What?
No,
Is this just really lagged for me?
perhaps.
Because I've only just seen him turn Doral into.
Yeah, it must be really lag for you. Doral's back on the map at this point, and you're over with the peoples. Should refresh. Alright, so you bonus action, you dashed. So now you're able to see what's going on. There seems to be a bit of a committee going on as Thela and Irin are on the ground.
So then, can I speak? Does
You speak Terran? Yep. You're still on the telepathic bond.
But I don't know, are the drow on the telepathic bond?
One of them is.
Yeah, Aaron is.
Which one's Aaron?
The one who was bleeding out. Who is
Okay,
kind of
so
like
then I will telepath when I get there.
being held.
What happened?
Ambush. Shot me. Got a potion. Gonna be okay.
Now point towards... Like, what is it? Just the whole tunnel is...
Completely blocked with a
stone now?
wall of stone, yeah.
I'd say, like, other side of that?
Yep.
Okay. I give a thumbs up. Gotcha. And that's it.
Okay. Now it's Lair.
So that was all said over the telepathic bond, right?
Yeah.
Cool. So if that's handled for the moment, where exactly are the other combatants that we know of, or the other combatant that we know of? Because I still only know of one.
That sounds like a question for Railken.
I'm trying to figure out how to word it. To the north and in this other cave area.
Cavern to the north of where we hid.
Yes.
Okay.
Resim, Yukikaze, and I are still fighting.
And
Okay.
me.
I mean, I don't think he sees Leah, so that's why he's...
No,
you
no,
definitely
no.
saw the Eldritch Blast strike the ground near your foot, and the rock between you and where the guy was originally, and then the guy.
And apparently Leah's trying to hit me.
What? No.
I almost got hit! Twice!
Technically, all three were really close.
Did
I
not
know what I'm doing.
about power getter?
Either way, if I know that Railken and Leah are both engaged, and I know that they had come this way, I know that I can continue going straight north from where I am and make it to near where something is. So, no, I'm not going down near that yet. So I move 30 feet north, or like in the northern direction. So now I'm there with Leah. I can't see Jack.
Nope.
I mean, he's all the way in Wolinar, so
That's
it
true.
can be very difficult to see. I think that I will. I will again prepare Ray of Frost.
Okay.
I don't imagine that I'll be able to expend it, but I'm not dashing into an area that I don't have more insight into.
Reasonable. Leah, you're up.
Yes. I am going to move 5 foot forward.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna Eldritch Blast the guy Railken is fighting.
Okay.
So it is tempting to shoot at him just because it...
I mean, you are definitely shooting at Railken.
It is in his direction.
that's an 18 to hit.
Okay, that'll hit this time. I don't believe he can parry that. I think he can only parry melee attacks. Yeah.
15 points of force.
15 points of force.
Hey, you Ma. Yeah. Hi, Ma. Oops.
Oops,
Sorry.
indeed.
That was
Alright, he's bloody.
Yeah. Second blast is 16.
16 will miss.
Yeah. And last blast is a lot. It's more than the first one.
Okay.
So it's a 19. It's a 19 on die. So
Damage. It's 31.
yes. 10.
10 points of damage.
Yes. 7 plus 3 isn't hard. I should know that.
Alright. Anything else? You can't see the other drow from... Well, good. Possibly.
I'm just going to say to Railken, see, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, I guess you kinda can through resin. Got a lot of cover.
Yeah, good job.
Alright, after Leah, Yukikaze. Guy's still standing next to you.
timeless. Have him again.
Got.
Possibly that. Oh, I still got disadvantage because he's up again. 19.
19 hits.
So I'm gonna spend a superiority die to trip attack him.
Okay.
Have him make a DC.
You got a 4.
He fails, and he takes 12 magical piercing.
12 total.
Yep.
Alright, so you sweep the leg and hit him with your short sword as he falls. And he hits the ground and just you hear the rattle, his death rattle. As he sighs his last, the wind is knocked from him and he begins to bleed out on the ground.
Oh, very nice.
Now, you have 30 feet of movement and two attacks. What do you want to do with them? Oh, look.
Was I capable of seeing Railken? Am I able to see that enemy?
I'm gonna say that the area is enclosed enough that the sound of them fighting gives you enough idea where to go, and then you find them.
Alright. Still got disadvantage. Take this, and this, and this. Oh. 16.
Not enough.
And that one's a 15. So
Okay.
I missed twice.
Alright. That poison, you can feel it really kind of slowing you down now.
Alright. And that'll end my turn.
Okay. Doral. Drow. Going to... God, you both are armored and shielded. I guess he'll just have to split his attacks. Alright, so... That is a 23 against Yuki. Okay. And a 26 against Railken.
I'm pretty sure both of those hit.
Yay. Alright, then each of you is going to receive 7 points of non-magical piercing damage. And then Railken is immune to poison damage, so he doesn't take it. But if you are not immune to poison damage, Yukikaze, then you'll be taking 10 points of it.
Alright.
So, 17 total for Yuki, 7 for Railken.
I am bloodied again.
They like hitting you. Alright. Resim is going to move and teleport corner. And he's going to fire. That's going to hit. He's going to shoot a bolt of force. 16, 19 points. And then he's going to fire a second regular arrow. 21, which will also hit. And maximize damage. Okay. Doral does jump in and save the day. His bolt of force, followed up by a regular arrow, strikes the drow. And as he goes down to his knees, he says, "You'll never make it to the city of Onyx alive." And he collapses.
I'm gonna take care of that.
You say that over the bond?
Yes.
Okay. Alright, I'm going to end initiative. Are you guys going to reconvene the party? What is Jebel going to do? It sounded like you actually had more combat stuff you wanted to do.
Which way did we come from?
The east side.
Okay. I'm gonna scout, and then I'm going to just sink into the ground and then move.
Okay.
Travel to the west.
Alright. As you get over there, there are sounds of fleeing enemies in this passage. They seem to be headed in both directions.
Senses, dark vision, tremor sense.
How far out does Tremor Sense go?
60 feet.
Okay. Then you're aware that there are at least 3 medium-sized creatures moving away from you, 2 to the north and 1 to the south.
And I will telepath. Yeah, but someone's over here, but they're running away. They split up.
Then I'd send back. Do what you think is best. I'm going to do what I can to guard these two so that everyone's here.
Right. I'm going to burrow again, and I'm going to travel. I don't want to go very far, so I'll travel a little bit to the north, then come down, return, and travel the same distance to the south, just to see if they stop anywhere.
It does seem like the ones to the north stop, and your tremor sense allows you to know that there are more that way. Like another ambush waiting for you.
Okay.
To the south, it doesn't seem like they stopped within the movement that you checked.
Then I'll telepath back. if we travel to the north, be careful. It seems like there is an ambush waiting for us. Could I get an idea of how many?
About 6 medium creatures and 2 large creatures.
Then I'll about eight in all, maybe. Waiting. Possibly more Driders.
Aaron's going to come onto the bond and say, "We can find a path to the south. The north is shorter, but only a little. So it is going to be more heavily guarded." We need only make a little more progress today. If we push the south, I think that we can break even. And you're gonna see him weakly exchanging signs with Thela, who nods and looks up and says, "I know that way. We can lead you."
Shall I put up a wall of force in the tunnel where they will be aiming down so we can attempt to get away?
Seems like an idea.
It's a good plan.
Goodbye 6th level spell slot.
I could put another wall of stone, something that'll stay even if I lose concentration. Well, even if I run out of its timer. Be a more obvious barrier, but one that would stay.
I imagine they're going to shoot arrows at us, so a wall of force is not subtle in that respect.
I could distract them for a bit.
I feel that it's probably best if we can stay together.
Okay.
Is 10 minutes going to give us enough of a head start to be safe? Or should we be doing the wall of stone instead?
They cannot break the wall of force. But either way, it sounds like they're expecting us to the north. If we do not show that way, they will search. If they find the wall of stone, they will know that we are taking the southern route.
Wow. That wasn't left.
If the wall of force disappears before they come looking, then there will be more uncertainty, and they will have to spread and search, thinning their voices. 10 minutes could be enough time.
We could do both. After those 10 minutes, I could then cast Wall of Stone at whatever point we're at, making them have to search significantly further to find it.
But it will improve their certainty when they do.
Fair enough.
As it will further limit the number of ways we could have gone. There are not only 2 ways to get there. These are just the 2 fastest.
Okay, what about a decoy then? I throw
Yeah.
one up that tunnel we're not going down.
I'm up there.
That is a better plan. I can tell you which to block. Thela will help Aaron to his feet. Say, I think I've had enough rest. We're ready to proceed when you are.
Jebel, Railken, can either of you see about getting Aaron in at least slightly better shape? My wand's tapped, or I do it myself.
You've already healed us so many times. We're not supposed to be fighting. Not supposed to be draining your resources.
Let's see here.
Am I able to hear or respond being this close, or are we kind of...
They're still using the telepathic bond.
Alright.
But a lot of the signals are being sent through the hand gestures so that Thela and Rezim know what's going on. You're starting to pick up on some of these signs. You've gotten a couple explained to you, so you can start to get some context to try and figure out some others, but it's still really quick.
Alright, no problem.
Railken, well, I guess if he's able to get up there.
I
He's
can move out of the way
passing
very
everybody.
easily.
I guess he'll give 10 points.
Endpoints to Aaron.
Yeah.
Okay. He's still bloodied, but he's breathing easier.
Yeah. Unfortunately, I'm down to not too much left, and if we have to fight anymore, I need to...
As you move up with your palm, lightly glowing in the dark, you do see that he protests your touch, but you touch him anyway. And after you heal him, he sighs and says, "Thank you. May the stray guide your path. I did not want to be a burden on your resources."
More importantly, you stay alive.
You're getting us to where we need to be. That's very important.
I'd rather keep as many of Illustra's number alive as we can, not to mention we'd have significantly less resources, there we go, if you weren't willing to guide us.
You're going to see the two drow exchange some hand gestures, after which Aaron will reach out and pat the shoulder of Thela. Say, "Very well. Again, if you're ready to move, so are we."
Alright, and I'll let go of the wall, because otherwise it's going to be permanent if I don't hurry and put it down.
Okay. The wall of stone crumbles. You, begin moving out. You're gonna maintain Earth Elemental form so you can keep scouting with Tremor Sense?
Yep.
Okay, cool. The drow begin leading you by the southern path.
I'm going to confirm via the telepathic bond with Aaron about where exactly to be placing the wall, and then I will cast the Wall of Force.
Yeah, your Wall of Force will cover this northern path, just right at the junction. It is completely invisible. But if they try to come this way, they will not be able to get through. And the stone here is thick. They would have to dig around it, and it would take a long time.
Yeah.
While we walk, I'm also gonna through use of converting spell slots to sorcery points and sorcery points back to spell slots. I'll be moving some slots around so I actually have a 5th level to spend when I need it.
Do as you need. You will be walking a while. Thala and Aaron encourage you to push beyond your limit to make up for the time you would be losing by taking this less than ideal path.
While we're going, can I fill my Gooinator back up?
Yes, you may. You can dump a couple more vials worth in there. Remember that it can only hold 12 points. That's right? It was 12.
Yeah, 12.
Okay.
Back up to 11.
Alrighty. They, after some distance, they point out where you should put up the new wall of stone.
Alright, I'll spin the slot.
Now, whether or not you keep that permanent so that people would have to dig through it at some other time is up to you.
That would be my goal, but I just have to make sure I keep my concentration for the 10 minutes.
Okay. Then, with that, you begin taking these paths. Every now and then, you do, with your tremor sense, feel some creatures ahead. Jebel, reporting to the party when you do. And Aaron and Thala discuss for a moment, and then update the route they're taking. So, by that means, you are able to avoid any more fighting until it is time to rest. So, you all just need to roll a Constitution saving throw.
It's gonna go well.
The DC
Do we get
is-
Railken's bonus?
Yes. The party can be arranged in such a way that you all get the bonus. The DC is 16.
I got. Oh wait, no, I have Railken's bonus. I didn't. I got a 19 instead. I was like, I got exactly what I needed, and then I realized it was more.
Alright.
Betting on whether or not to use a mulligan, I got a 15.
I didn't.
So those who didn't make the 16, you have a level of exhaustion. You'll need to go through an unencumbered full night's sleep to get rid of it.
I got a 23.
You can throw up one level of exhaustion. It's just disadvantage on skill checks, ability checks. And you are able to make the progress that Aaron and Thala push you toward. At which point, I believe that there were some circumstances that Larmandus wished to arrange.
How do you add exhaustion on
It should be
Under
under
conditions in the top right.
top right?
Conditions, it's all the way at the bottom.
Conditions.
Of
Add
condition.
active condition. Alright, there we go.
For the casting of Magnificent Mansion, you mean?
Indeed.
So when we get to a point, Larmandus will say, unfortunately, because of everything, I can't stone shape us a hole to cast the Magnificent Mansion and to then stone shape close it back up to make it so it's extremely difficult. Nearly impossible, not only extremely difficult, to find the entrance. I can still open up a bit, but I couldn't close it. So if we could find some place that seems safe enough for an invisible door, the only ways that somebody could be able to detect it would be if they're walking by with detect magic, and they would just be able to tell that there is something magic there. they wouldn't be able to walk through. They would have to dispel it, which is quite difficult, as it's a 7th level spell, but entirely possible.
What happens if they dispel it successfully?
We will all appear in the surrounding area as close as possible to the door, and it will be quite jarring.
That is inconvenient. Everybody should make an investigation roll to try and find a spot that is out of the way, off the beaten path as much as possible, and if even more possible in like a little nook or alleyway that like a dead end that you have to really wend around to get to.
So we had disadvantage if we have exhaustion then for this?
Yeah.
If we can find a dead end with a small enough entryway, I could stone shape it closed, locking us in.
Well, I'm no help.
Me neither.
I got it.
I got a nat 20. My investigation is high because I am smart. I got a 28.
Well, it's a good thing you didn't need us.
So the group spreads out and begins hunting around the nearby passages quietly, carefully. And after about a half hour of moving about this way, Lair comes on the mind radio and says, I think I found something.
Just hear, this is perfect.
Like, I like to imagine that he found like 9 other things that could work, but he just kept looking for the perfect one.
Yeah. I point them all out. As I describe the different ways why they were not ideal, but entirely possible.
Me and the rest of us were like, I didn't find anything.
And then I gleefully rub my hands together and say, this will take a minute.
I found a mushroom.
Resin's just like, yes, contrary to popular belief, it turns out rocks look like rocks.
And I also think I found one, but it's too small. I just think it's big enough because I'm, small.
It's
Yeah.
a perfect
Railken
trap.
stands next to it, and it's like his head's 3 feet taller than the thing. Oh.
I don't think this is gonna work. Raisin,
Fits
let
me.
me try. Nope, I do not fit either.
But yeah, so Laramandus spends a minute casting the spell, and then there's just like you just hear like the tiniest like click of a lock, like unlocking, and he's like, wonderful. And then he walks to just a space, and then like opens a door, and then steps through.
Very good.
And I use my 7th level spell slot.
And so, Laramandus opens a door you don't see into the wall that is filled with an inky blackness and disappears within. You follow? Okay.
I mean, that seems to be the plan, so yeah.
One by one, you step into the inky blackness, and there is a moment of vertigo as you cannot perceive or feel the world around you. And then, as though you had been not expecting a step down when your foot found it, you hit the ground hard with your leading foot, nearly throwing yourself off balance, and you find yourself standing about 10 feet away from a 2-story stone building that is rather castle-like in its design. Around you, you are stood upon close-cut grass and an even ground that seems to flow down toward a like a coast, and you feel like you can hear the lapping of water, but when you look out that way, the ground just appears to end, and beyond it you see a starless void that seems to draw your consciousness into it. It makes you dizzy to look into it.
I wonder what happens if you fall into the void.
Do you ask that?
Do.
You know what? I'm not sure. And then you see a rock just like that, get thrown over.
If you didn't do that, I was totally going to.
Well, no, Laramentis doesn't. Laramentis just like turns to the air and then like gestures, and then there is a rock that hadn't been there, and you see ever so faintly the form of this man in a very like formal attire, and a rock just gets thrown, and he looks at the spot and he says, "Thank you." I imagine that there's no like the rock is there and then it's in this it just disappears and there's no sound, no nothing. It just you can't even tell that there was a rock thrown in a spot. And then Larry says, "Well, that wasn't very informative," and then walks inside.
You feel like you heard a splash, but you know with certainty that you did not. Your brain is just inventing conditions to make things make sense. Wrong mouse. You head inside. Lair precedes you inside. The door seems to be held open by this formally dressed specter whom you can see through.
Well, now I've seen everything.
Oh, there's so much more to see in the world.
Voice echoes as though he's in a cavernous stone room.
Nah, this place is fancy.
Are other people going to follow him in?
Reminds me
Yeah.
of home.
Yeah, I followed, obviously.
I follow.
Can't just
Honestly,
leave Laramondus alone.
the slight conversation we have outside the building probably sounds a bit odd to us because we've spent the past few days underground where our voices would like always be echoing.
Also spend most of our time talking underground via telepathy.
Yeah, too.
So when we walk into this room, Laramentis turns to you and he says, up that staircase, you will find rooms for all of us. Anyone can claim whichever room they like.
I want the big one.
Any of your equipment that you would like brought up, I gesture, and you see next to each one of you is another one of those. It looks. He looks almost the same as the one who held open the door, but each of them is slightly different.
Some have cravats, others have ties.
They all make to grab your bags and things like that.
Yes. I'll name mine Fredward.
Squeakers is going to chirp, leap off your shoulder, and dash up the stairs.
You see that there's now a name tag on the one that had Vendar's gear, and it does say Fredward.
I'll follow Squeakers up.
Just through here, I guess. Do people want the tour, or do people want to get settled? If not, everything's fine. I'm going to go to the library.
Sounds like you're giving the tour.
Okay. I will leave all of you to your own device. There are comfortable beds. You just plop down on the ground there?
Yeah, because he's not feeling so hot.
Okay.
So he's going to need a minute.
If you're talking about the poison, that wore off a while ago. It's been hours. It only lasts 1 hour, and it's been a few.
Oh, okay. I'll still plop down while I'm listening.
Okay. I can assure you that the beds are going to be more comfortable than the floor. If you could assist him, I'd say to the air, and where I turn to speak, there is another one of these spectral servants who moves over to Yukikaze and helps him up and begins leading him away to go up the stairs.
Carissa lifts him up like a bride and carries him up the stairs.
I don't think they can support that much weight, but he's clearly helping.
You get led upstairs to a bedroom. We'll get to that later. Tour first.
Excellent. So I lead them into the parlor there. I think there's supposed to be a door into the garden in the parlor as well.
Oh. Well, someone forgot to put it in.
Yeah, I probably did. As you can see, comfortable chairs, a nice warm fire. I thought that the windows outside might not be a good idea. And the rock that we threw makes me think that, at least at first, that was a reasonable assumption. Through here, we have the dining hall. I lead them into there. There is plenty of delicious food. Any of the servants will be able to bring you whatever you want, whether you want to eat it here, in your room, in the garden, wherever.
Wait.
You need only ask.
Servants?
Yes. I gesture a bit, and basically everywhere I point, you see a new one of these spectral beings.
How did he do all this?
Extremely powerful magic.
This is incredible.
Out of curiosity, I do the finger gun gesture at one of the servants just to see what happens.
It's very subtle, but you do get a very they had the hands behind the back, and one hand goes in front of them facing you and does a little finger gun back. And then moves almost imperceptibly back to the hands behind the back position that they had been in. If we go through this door, we'll be in what should be quite a nice little garden. You could see it from some of the windows in the entry hall. Plenty of places to sit. I don't recommend looking straight up.
I look straight up.
As you look straight up, so this area is well lit. It's a nice spring day. All of that. You look straight up and you see basically straight above the roof that you can see on both sides of this area, because this is open to the sky. You just see that blackness, that starless void of nothing. So there is no clear way that this is lit like a nice spring day.
I looked straight up as well because
I imagine that everyone did when I said not to.
So all you freaks who can't listen to people get to roll Constitution saving throws.
Oh, of course I'm going to. I can never listen to people.
I was already going to anyway, but okay.
16.
Railken, you failed. You're supposed to be in the middle.
I got 15.
I don't decide where I can put or where Tristan places me.
I just randomly arrange these tokens.
Oh,
As I imagine you all are shuffling around and changing your positions constantly as you move through doorways that are narrow and then spread back out.
Yep, makes perfect sense. I got 11.
Cool. You feel all of you feel your stomach lurch. Cyrus, you're gonna lose it.
If it's possible, I would try and get one of the servants to make something appear that I could, lose it into.
You find yourself losing it. You bend over directly into a bucket, that hadn't been there before. And the same servant that had given you the finger gun is there holding it.
He is now your servant.
Thank you, Jeeves.
You see a name tag appear on him, and it says Jeeves.
Perfect.
So you see this lovely garden with its lovely pond and lots of lush, exotic-looking plants, trees providing shade, and benches upon which to sit and read, of course, because what else would you do?
I mean,
if you
after you
follow me to the other side of the garden, that is where the library is.
As we walk, I'm gonna lean over to Doral, say, "What do you think about this for flying practice?"
I think there's enough sky space.
Yes.
Fall into the void.
So we walk into the library, and you see this space is open to both floors of the building. You see that there's a mezzanine covering about half of the side that we walked in on, and there's a spiral staircase going up to it. But just floor to ceiling, just books and books and books. There's a few large ladders going up, but like if one wanted to get to books that way, there's a large table here to be able to read at. You see that there are pavers spread across it, and Armandus will say most of the books here contain information that is that I've gathered in my travels, that I keep in my book. If there are any particular things that you have an interest in, you can ask me if I have anything about it, or you can ask one of the servants to fetch you one of the books. If you don't feel like climbing around and skimming through titles and things like that.
Any books on poison? Not actually there.
What about poisons?
I'm not actually there. I ran off with
That's
creatures.
true.
So.
Oh, okay.
Vendar and Yukikaze ran off to the beds.
Right.
Both the Ewoks.
I say this is very impressive. The mortal wizards have mastered the arcane crafts we bestowed upon you well.
I'm unsurprised that comfort was something that people worked very hard to develop. But this should give us a good night in preparation for a rough tomorrow.
Now, I'm certainly glad to see that you're taking this all seriously.
Armandus,
Yes?
is it safe to summon Lorelei in there?
I suppose I'll make an Arcana check. That's the same die with another 20, so I do not think I rolled it well. We're gonna go with the 12 on die that I got, which is still a 30. I think that it would be fine.
Summoning such creatures doesn't say that you are restricted by plane. They're pulling them to you.
That I can think of no reason why it would not work. I would be most interested to have verification of that.
And I'm gonna set it up here. This seems like the table seems like a good place. I gotta get up my incense.
You find that very conveniently located to where you had been going to sit down. There is a a very appropriately sized brazier and anything else that you might need or want for the actual casting the ritual.
Wait, so I don't need to use my own material?
No, the material components you need.
Okay.
But like the other equipment, like things in which to burn the incense that you have and all of that.
Right.
I don't think that I can generate things in here that require that can be used as a cost to a spell. I don't think. So we're going to say that I can't for now.
Okay. I mean, I have it. It's just that you made me question it. It takes an hour, by the way, so don't sit around. Go ahead, do whatever you want.
Does anyone else have anything else in particular they would like me to show them, or everyone go
I
their
would
own
like
way?
to know this sleep and bathing facilities.
You'd also mention some sort of art room. He says hopefully, looking at you with puppy dog eyes.
Yes, any equipment that you want to practice with can easily be brought to you. I think that this particular map might not have a specific room set aside because this is a more generic version of the map. But there can be space somewhere. Maybe the garden's a bit smaller, and there's space behind it.
Or I could just do it in the garden. It is fairly, pretty.
Yeah. But any particular types of equipment you wish to have should be found. You can just ask one of the servants.
You're gonna go out and do art in the park?
I figured I'd stick with the tour until I was fully complete. Last I knew there were still, bedrooms and bathing to be seen too.
That's what Resum's asked for.
Of course. I will lead the way.
Oh my goodness. Far out. I can't see where I'm clicking. Oh my goodness. Alright, well, whatever.
There could be a door there, it's fine.
There's a door there now. We start trying to go through the wall and a door appears.
There you are. You may explain things, Sam.
Down this hallway, all of the rooms. The first one to the right there is for bathing. Because of the number of us, I think there's only the one. At normal times, the fewer of us in here, we can have more space for it. The rooms on this side, I gesture to the left, all have windows overlooking the garden. On the map, you can't see, it just looks like it's, dirt or something. That's because it was a pain in the ass to mirror the garden there. So people can use their imagination.
I know these feels.
I'm not sure which rooms are already picked. But did all of you have gear that you had given to the servants when we first walked in?
Considering mine's a cape and a bag of holding, I probably just held on to it.
If anyone did, you can be led. They will lead you to your rooms, and then each of you who did have anything taken by a servant will have a servant in front of you who will begin walking and leading you to whichever room your stuff was brought to. Any of the other rooms, any of the unoccupied rooms, should be fine for anyone to claim.
Excellent.
Prism is first in Bath.
Take me to my room, Basil.
The specter will nod and begin leading you to a room. And you see a little name tag that says Basil.
But it's gonna put up the painting first.
Painting?
What, a painting?
Since they called it Basil, I thought of Faulty Towers.
So, if we think about what our servant looks like, does it become it?
Are you asking Laramentis that, or are you looking at a servant and then thinking about it hard? Or you are not around Laramentis, so you basically like look around, think about a servant being there. There's a servant there, and then think about changing them.
No, I'm just thinking about the shape of the servant that helped me up to the room.
Yeah, that's what he was answering.
Oh.
He was saying yes.
And they just become it just because I thought it?
They appear because you were thinking about them. They're very well trained in hospitality. They don't. If you try and like change them a lot, it's not going to work.
Well, it's not changing a lot.
Like, what are you trying to change about them?
Oh, I'm not trying to change about them. It's just like thinking about their appearance. That's all. Because I forget you said they're just like kind of mildly see-through specters.
Yeah.
Are they elven in appearance? Or are they?
I think that most of them would appear to be elven. Yeah. It's kind of difficult to make out much of a face on any of them. But they have a fairly elven kind of build.
Mm. They just have the vague suggestion of facial features.
Yeah.
Very well. I have moved everybody off to random rooms. Resim is in there bathing. You hear him singing.
Oh, jeez.
Is he good at least?
It's okay. You're over in the library doing your stuff.
Yeah,
right?
I know.
Okay. It doesn't carry quite that far. This is a big place.
I'm gonna follow suit with my character and pass out here.
It is 10:40.
Rendar is having Fredward give him a foot rub.
Fredward is very good at it.
Now this is luxury.
Like it's very, very skilled.
Alright, we will pick it up here next week. As you have begun your long rest in the magnificent mansion.
Alright. And with that, I'm gonna head to bed.
Before you do, not everyone was around last week when we talked about Tailspire. Tristan, do you want to go over that at all, since everyone's still here for the moment?
Tristan, let's go over it with me.
But it is possible that if I can get some more building done in it, which I have not had the time for, it could be something to switch to over, both my map tool, and also even these the incarnate maps are nice, but there's a lot more control to be had with Tailspire. And if people don't want to be spending the money on it, I can continue to just stream it the way I already do. But if people want to buy it, then I would still be streaming it, but you wouldn't have to be on the stream to receive it if we were all in Tailspire. You'd be able to move your tokens around.
You'd have control of yourself.
Yeah.
There wouldn't be that delay, which is nice.
Right. So, think about it. It's like a $25 program.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Yeah.
We'll see everybody next week. I'm going to put experience in the chat. Alright, good night, stream.
Should I have cast... I guess it doesn't really matter because we're about to have a long rest. Should I have cast Stone Shape to wall us off?
I thought that you had done that, like you had walled yourself into the alcove and then cast the Magnificent Mansion.
That's perfect. I hadn't marked the spell slot.
Okay,
so
mark
I
the spell slot.
Make sure before doing it. Cool.
Alright, good night, stream.
Good night.